Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1367, 1367. I'm Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Café Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, at the last place on earth today. We hear from Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the Engineer, Shelley Schuhart, and we bring you the wonderful, informative segment called Live and Loco. And it's Friday, and I'm so loco.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Say what? I'm telling you that I'm so happy that it is Friday. Woohoo!
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And we have fireworks going off, though. Hey, you gotta be careful, because there's a lot of, well, there's an air full of people that are in the air. What am I talking about? This song went nowhere, and I'm going to stop and shout! I had to meet some wonderful friends yesterday.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
At Cafe 4 in Podcastro Valley. My wonderful friends Sylvia and Leilani.
Mike's
Sylvia
Daily
listens to this show.
Podcast.
Sometimes.
Yeah!
All the time. I don't know. But it was great talking to them. Sylvia made this wonderful peanut butter, chocolate, never baked brownie thing. So good. It had, what was in it? I can't remember all the things, but it was completely vegan and so delicious. Thank you so much, Sylvia. And I got a coffee. Look who walked in. I was so tired. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm pretty much dead because I've been up since 4, and it was hot. It wasn't as hot as it's going to be this weekend. But it was warm, and we sat outside and had a wonderful conversation. Leilani talked about an artist friend that she knew in San Francisco that got quite popular, who lived in Sausalito. Look who else walked in for a while. Oh, it was good talking to her. Good talking to them. Great friends. You know what? Some people walked in.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Shelley Schuhart, your shop supervisor. I made something really delicious with my boyfriend, Bob.
Yes, deliciousness is scary. You and Bob made something? What'd you make?
I made a cuckoo clock.
All right. Wait, but you said you made something to eat. I'm confused. And look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere the Engineer. Working on clocks is a very fun time to do that.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Do you have anything else, John Deere? I'm making a clock right now. It's good. It's a nice... Hey, so the picture today is black and white. I never post podcast pictures in black and white, except for the Mike's Daily Podcast logo, which is in that wonderful sky blue. But it's in this picture are some wonderful sheep and some goats. And you can see that picture now at mikesdailypodcast.com. And all the past podcast pictures, and hear the past shows, and help out the show if you want to help us out. If you're feeling like giving a little bit to us in a way that doesn't cost you anything, because you're going to go shopping on Amazon anyway, right? Click on mikesdailypodcast.com and look for the Amazon logo. Click on that, and then when you buy something that helps us out, we get like I don't know. We get hardly anything, but it's something. And then there's also the PayPal if you'd like to help us out. That way you'll become an inglorious Mike's Daily Podcaster and get a special greeting from all the Café Anyway characters. You know, I went on Wednesday, I went and yelled at Comcast, and like I said, I think it worked. I don't know. I got an email then the next day telling me that the price that I had agreed on with them, well, it didn't show me that price. It showed me something that was $25 more. So everybody that I told about this then told me their horrible Comcast stories. This company has the worst reputation. Xfinity Comcast. I would not want to run the country, have a piece of the country, run the company, have a piece of the company, or any of that. Just bad news. But after I had talked to Comcast, I went over to BJ's and I had a wonderful beer. I think it's called the PM Porter. It was good. It wasn't as good as the Lagunitas Coffee Stout that I had at that karaoke party thing that I did on Friday. Somebody brought that. That was so good. But as I said, I don't drink beer all the time. Although when the summertime comes, I think I drink a little bit more because you're outside and you're at barbecues and stuff. Well, hopefully. Now, I was at BJ's and I looked at their menu. I don't like their menu. BJ's has got a lot of stuff on their menu that is just there to make you diabetic. And so I was looking through this and I go, oh, they have a lunch special page and it's still lunchtime, so I'll get this thing. What is it? It's a stuffed potato. What will I get? I'll get a soup with it. I'll do sort of that. What's that horrible place? Soup Plantation? I'll do that kind of a thing. What do we have at Soup Plantation? Oh, we got a huge salad bar, soup, and pizza. To me, that doesn't sound at all appealing. It sounds like and then the people at Soup Plantation, they think they're eating healthy, but of course they're getting the salad and putting tons of dressing on it that's full of calories, and then they're having the soup that's full of calories. Well, I decided to go that route at BJ's, and they brought me this clam chowder bowl where they had cut the lid off and turned it into garlic toast. And it was pretty good. The clam chowder tasted like something you'd get out of a Campbell's soup can. And then I went full carb. I went carb-a-load. I went into a carb coma after this because I also ordered the stuffed potato. And that was okay. And they actually messed up because they made the potato and didn't bring it out to me. So it got cold. So they had to make another one. And that was frustrating. So I was at BJ's for like 2 hours. I ended up talking to, though, the two lovely blonde waitresses at the bartenders behind the bar. And one of them was telling me she was going to Europe for 30 days and going from Greece up to Prague, over to Germany, to France, just on this wonderful tour. And she told me something that gave me a wonderful idea. If I could just have like a ding sound effect, can you just give me, producer, can you give me a ding sound effect? Okay, Mike, I will do that. That'll work. It was sort of like, oh, what a great idea. Sort of like, that's a bad crutch I have. I say that a lot. All right, I'll try not to. So it was this idea. So what she's doing is she's going on all these excursions in Europe. And she's doing interesting excursions. Like in Spain, she's going to be learning how to make paella. And they're going to be drinking sangria. Paella, sangria. And she's going to be making both of these, drinking and going, starting off at a farmer's market. And this is a whole, and she's young. So it's a millennial. And they always say this about millennials, that they want to experience stuff as if that's something new. No, every young person wants to experience something. I wanted to experience stuff when I was young because I didn't know the world. I hadn't seen it yet. It's this big thing everybody talks about. Well, I want to see it for myself. So I don't know why they keep saying it's some new thing for millennials, and it makes us stupid Gen Xers and baby boomers look like idiots when we talk about it. Anyway, because millennials want to experience things, I thought I would make my own millennial Mixcursion. And here is the music bed that I created, this opener for the Mixcursion, millennial Mixcursion. Woo! Da 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 da. There, did you like that little intro for that? What it is I'm going to do a Mixcursion today. All you have to do is be in Castro Valleymont, or Castro Valley, at 6 p.m. this evening at Fairmont Ridge. Meet me at the front gate with your dog. Any dog will do. And we will go for a millennial Mixcursion. I will take you on the walk that I have talked many times and posted many podcast pictures about on Mike's Daily Podcast. So if you would like to go on a Mike excursion, it's absolutely free. Just show up today in Podcastro Valley at the Fairmont Ridge parking lot right there off of Lake Chabot Boulevard at 6 p.m. I will be there with my dog, Basil the Boxer. And we will have a fun little walk, my friend. Oh, by the way, Nick and Stephanie will be joining us, so it'll be more than me. More than this. There is nothing. Of course, you have to be in California to do this, but if you're not, you'll be there in spirit, won't you? Wonderful. So, good luck to my wonderful waitress friends, bartender friends, bartendresses. So, I'm just not coming up with the right words, but bartendresses is I kind of like the sound of that word. I like the flow. So, whatever they are called, they're both blonde and lovely. And I forgot to mention, the other one was talking about how her roommate is a millennial. Oh, because she didn't identify as a millennial. She probably was just at the beginning of or the end of the Gen Xer age or whatever. Who wants to throw someone in a category anymore? What are words for when no one listens anymore? What are words for? And she said her younger roommate, who doesn't even have a driver's license, bought a Harley. Bought a Harley. Those things ain't cheap. But apparently he got a great deal, and at some point he's going to get a license, so it works out. Meanwhile, it sits in her garage, taking up space. So that's what I gleaned from the wonderful experience I had at BJ's. I gleaned that off of all that after Comcast. And now we get to the wonderful segment called Live and Loco.
Live and Loco.
I got through that. I got into it.
So Trump has decided last night to end an Obama-era policy that protected undocumented immigrants with children who are U.S. citizens or permanent residents, known as DAPA. That's a DAPA thing you hear, which stands for Deferred Action for Parents of Americans. Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly sent a memo to agents yesterday telling them not to follow the Obama-era rule, which was enacted in November of 2014. In a press release, the Department of Homeland Security said that it was ending the DAPA program because there was, quote, no credible path forward to litigate the currently enjoined policy. DAPA has been embroiled in legal battles since 2015 when it was put on hold. Texas and 25 other states filed a lawsuit to block President Obama's policy, which would have granted deferred deportation to nearly 5 million undocumented immigrants. Also, Snap has, oh my gosh, I am so glad I did not buy Snap stock.
Oh, snap.
It has, Snapchat has just hit its IPO price of $17. It has fallen all the way back down to $17. The day that it was offered, when you could buy the stock for the first time, as soon as it came out, it jumped to, I think, $21. So if you had bought it then, thinking, oh my gosh, this thing is like Facebook, it's going to just explode, you would have lost money. The company has been on a slide ever since its initial bump. It debuted at $17. Of course, it came out so quick, and you know the people that are on the inside know about it first, so they bought up a lot of it at that price, and then it jumped to $24. It reached its all-time high of $27. That's the highest it ever got. It's now down 37% from there. Many of the banks that underwrote the company's IPO have become bearish on the stock. JP Morgan is perhaps the most notable, as it has been downbeat on the stock almost since its launch. I'm Bill Gunderson with Best Stocks Now.
Sharpener. It'll take the worst knife in your drawer and turn it into a razor blade.
I love that guy. The company is struggling to innovate faster than its competitors, but Facebook, oh my gosh, they've been copying everything Snap does and puts it into their Instagram. And you know what? I tried it. I'm sorry. If you are just appealing to a younger age group and you can't appeal to people like me, Snap, I'm sorry. I tried. You do not make sense to me. And everything that you do, Instagram does better and explains it to me better. And everybody was, oh, but Snap, it appeals to young people. It's how they think. It does everything. It's revolutionary. It rebels against their parents and everyone older. Well, that is not the recipe for success in the financial world. And one other financial thing. Oh, actually, I have two other financial things. We will zip through them very quickly but they are very interesting and live and loco. And that is that Yahoo is gone. Did you have a Yahoo account? I think I have a Yahoo email, and I'm gonna keep it because it's so. I feel like I have a piece of history, but I don't know what it's gonna turn into, because Verizon now officially owns the one-time web portal, paying $4.48 billion. It's merging Yahoo with AOL. Remember, you know AOL, right? They do that thing.
You've got mail.
Which that guy just did for just off the cuff and doesn't make any money off of that every time it played on everyone's computers. It's just a one-time thing. Now he drives an Uber. And they're racist, or sexist, Uber is. But AOL and Yahoo together, now they are called Oath. Like I'm taking the oath, taking an oath. Not like an oath. You stupid oaf. Who calls anybody that anymore as an insult? Oath, which resides within Verizon's media and telematics group. But what does that mean to the 1 billion or so users of the popular features such as Yahoo Mail, Yahoo Finance, and you know what else they have, which I know Haley uses, Haley that's sometimes on the show, and who does the segment called
Daily Haley. Almost Daily Haley.
Tumblr is what they also own. Tumblr. So yeah, users of Yahoo and AOL brands, Tumblr and such, can find clickable links to all their favorite destinations on the Oath homepage. But the traditional paths to Yahoo Mail, Yahoo Finance, Tumblr, and AOL still work as they always have. Will my email address change? Not as of now. Oath CEO Tim Armstrong, the former CEO of AOL, said recently the Yahoo brands, including Yahoo Mail, are not going away. If you haven't logged in lately, Yahoo has asked users to change their passwords in the wake of separate hacks. Remember that? That's one of the things that caused Yahoo to go into the toilet. And that hacks affected 1 billion accounts. And the rest of these questions are about the games. They're not expected to disappear that they have. Armstrong has described Oath as a B2B entity, an umbrella brand over the names you are already familiar with. Okay, so that's smart. They're not going to change anything. So my account won't suddenly change to a Oath whatever at oath.com. So good. Now, avocados. Okay, the last thing. This is one of the stupidest things. Equating millennials to, they spend a lot of money on avocados. I'm sorry, have you seen the prices of avocados lately? For a while, they were pretty cheap, and I was buying them all the time. I love avocados. They have wonderful, they're good fats. They taste delicious in tacos, and you can use them to make desserts. They replace a lot of the fats that you would use in desserts. Avocados are freaking awesome. Well, now everybody's going, millennials, all they do is eat avocados and spend a bunch of money on them. Like that guy, the property mogul in Australia. Did you hear? You heard about this. This is an old story. But he was complaining about how millennials are freely spending on avocados, the pricey, popular superfruit Oh, in this article it says, the popular superfruit, beloved by young people. It's beloved by all kinds of people, not just young. It may be one reason some young people can't afford a house, said Tim Gurner, the Australian millionaire. Who, what's his age? I heard he's young himself. So, when I was trying to buy my first home, I wasn't buying smashed avocado for $19 and 4 coffees at $4 each. So, yeah, okay, apparently people spend that. But they spend money on all kinds of stupid stuff. Like in San Francisco, 4 years ago, they were all Twitter talking about the toast that they were charging $6 for. All Twitter about it because apparently this toast was that expensive because of the fact it was made from this really fancy schmancy bread. So the bread is expensive and then the toast would be expensive, thusly. So this article says millennial spending habits have been analyzed from all angles, and according to Goldman Sachs researcher Lindsay Drucker, young people place value over convenience and prefer experiences over big ticket items like homes and cars. That's always been the case. Gen Xers, when we were young, when we were in the 80s and we were cranking up Flock of Seagulls. Actually, I was too young at that point to drive a car when Flock of Seagulls first came out. But let's see. I was driving a car, cranking up on my AM radio in my old car when the only car I could get at that age was, what was I cranking up on the AM radio? Billy Ocean. Caribbean Queen, now we're sharing the same dream. His music produced by Mutt Lange, who produced Def Leppard, interestingly enough, and who was married to Shania Twain for a while. So, here's the thing. Young people should not be buying houses. Get this. If you buy a house and you're young and in this market where prices are at the top, maybe going even higher, but not much. As far as I know, from what I've seen in my short life, it goes up and down, and it feels to me like we're in 2007, 2008, when I got married, and my then wife said, "Hey, I want a house because I want to build things. I want to create something." Since first you get married, then you get married, and then you make a Cold War Kid song, and then you go to, what was the thing? Disneyland? Wait. I got confused in my explanation, in my analysis. So yeah, so here's what you do. You get married, you have kids, you get a house. Something in that, not necessarily in that order. But so I went house shopping with my then wife, and the house prices were so expensive, there was no way with a DJ's salary that I was going to be able to afford a house. And they offered me the chance to buy a house with what I was making, and there was no way I would have been able to. I would have signed contracts that would have ended up killing me financially. So I kept renting because I was renting a little 500 square foot couple rooms in a duplex in Ventura, downtown Ventura. They never raised the rent, $700 a month, and I could walk down to downtown Main Street. It was wonderful. I made all kinds of friends in downtown Ventura, made friends with the kids. They were related to members of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, and I made it was wonderful. You were near the beach, and I said, "Hey, this isn't, why change?" I'd say to my ex-wife, "Why would we want to move out into a house?" "Well, I want a house. I want to start a family." So that's exactly the situation. I have a friend who got married this year and she wanted to buy a house. The wife did, and so they bought a house, and now, I mean, he's going to lose his job. He wasn't making that much money anyway. I don't know if they're going to be able to keep it. People need to prioritize. They need to think in a common sense way. And if you're young and you want to experience things and you want to walk downtown and hang out with the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band's kids and go to the beach, don't buy a house. I'm saying this to the young Mike, and I'm saying this to the young people. But damn, people want to buy houses. They want this dream. It's the stupid dream they're being fed. But what about the common sense? The sense of it all, you know? Well, a Food Institute analysis of 2014 data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture also found that millennials spend about 44% of their food dollars on eating out, where foods like avocados seem to dominate menus, from fast food staples like Starbucks to fast casual restaurants like Chipotle. Oh, that's so ridiculous. I ate out all the time because I didn't know how to cook yet. You gotta find the time to be able to cook. If you're not, I wasn't passionate about cooking. So I wanted someone I didn't know. Of course it makes more sense to cook at home. You save a lot of money. You can eat more healthy. And avocado prices are crazy right now. I would not go out and buy avocado now, but it is a wonderful food. And when prices come down again for avocados, which they will, things go up, things go down. Kale goes up, kale goes down. Housing prices go up, housing prices go down. That's what I've gleaned from all this. And finally, living alone can be the best thing I have found since I have been divorced. But it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of work. You got to clean up after yourself. You got to do all the work. And I own a house, so I got to do all that house maintenance, which if I were renting, I wouldn't have to worry about, but whatever. You can freely walk naked from the bathroom to your bedroom, and you can have peace and quiet whenever you need it, unless you have a roommate like I do. He can make a lot of noise sometimes, but he's a nice guy. But one close call with a piece of sandwich getting lodged in your throat, and you die alone. How would they know where you are, how you are, and are you alive? Dying alone in your house is arguably one of the saddest things to think about. This is from an article by, it's called, This Is What, look, if you want this whole article, it's What Would Happen If. Look it up, and Dying Alone. And it's about something that Dr. Judy Melinek wrote, a former pathologist and author of Working Stiff. The typical scenario, she says, we have in a neighbor is concerned that they haven't seen a person in a while, or the person doesn't show up for work, or the mail starts piling up outside the door. Just after expiring, a body starts to smell. Your neighbors might pick up on that. Usually there's a call made out at some point for what is called a well-being check. She says either the police will get that call, or sometimes it'll just be the manager of the building. Whoever's been assigned to perform the check will, if need be, break down your door and will check your home. Because you are dead, they will find your dead body. It might sound obvious, but just because someone thinks they found a dead body doesn't officially make you dead. Paramedics are called in to examine you and determine that, yes, you are dead. Once your corpse has been wheeled away, you'll be sent to the local medical examiner or coroner. Yes, there is a difference, to figure out how you died and who you are. In case of a death, it's the job of a forensic pathologist to determine the cause and the manner of death and rule out foul play. Because you died alone, it's safe to assume there was no foul play. Still, they need to figure out how you died. And this goes on. It's a great article I found, and for some reason I thought I'd share a little bit of it with you. Because I sometimes think about death, as we all do, as Woody Allen does. He thinks about it all the time, yet he will outlive all of us as we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast over in Podcaster Valley. Next show, we will end on a much happier note, but I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope it's wondrous. Thanks again to Vince for being on the last show. And next show, it will be Benita the Disgruntled Fiddle Player and the Brewmaster, and I hope you gleaned a lot from this show. Hey, and I will meet you today, if you are in the Bay Area and you have time, at 6 o'clock. I will be at Fairmont Ridge with Basil the Boxer, and we will go on a Mike excursion, a millennial Mike excursion. See you then.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!
Glean.